feel at home. Silence on my phone, focus on my goals. Whoa.
Apex there on the board. We have a hell of a grand final on our hands. And I'm joined by one of the VCT EMEA mainstays, royalty even here. It's Avova's dad. Thank you so much for being here with me. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of coming here all the time, all the way from Copenhagen to Berlin.
Here's the thing. You were telling me you traveled 12 hours to be here.
Yeah, normal 7-8 hours, but something is happening in the highway or autobahn, and we have to drive zigzag way.
But it's worth it, right? It's worth it.
Yeah, and we are just coming yesterday actually with my family.
Yeah, oh yeah, the whole family, the whole clan is here. We have the whole clan.
Always.
But this is the thing, this is not your first time. We've seen you support him all over the world, you know, many times.
Yeah.
Does it ever get easier on your emotions?
I think today the guy will be win.
Yeah?
And I feel it.
You're confident?
Yes, I'm relaxed. I need some coffee and sleep well.
The thing is, though, Avova, he's playing really well today. I know you watch a lot of the games. We have some clips to show you guys as well.
Always.
This thing he does when he smokes, you know, he defuses, and he's always very calm in these moments. Is this a calm person in real life?
Not me, him, yes.
Him, yes? Yeah?
Yeah, not me.
Yeah?
Like wife. Like my wife, mother.
He gets it from his mom.
Yeah, me no.
But so are you not calm in those moments? And when you're watching him in these high pressure situations?
Yeah, I feel inside the game.
Yeah.
When I start to play, I feel inside the game.
And what do you think about the game? You enjoy watching it?
Yes, I love it. That's why I come all the way. And I love the game. I love the team. Doesn't matter which team he will play. I love them guys. And I always support the team.
You support him. Support Apex.
Of course, guys.
Yes, of course.
Good morning. Free.
Last question before I let you go. If there's anything you can say to him right now, I think he might be able to hear you backstage.
I say, hey, Bova, I love you and I love all the team. From me. PEX.
You're so real for that. You're all of us right now. Thank you so much.
And thank everybody here.
Thank you so much. I love this energy. We keep it up, all right? We bring it home.
Thank you. And say hello to your boyfriend.
All right. I think he's watch partying right now.
I know. I have picture with him, actually.
I'll send this back to the desk.
Yeah.
But yeah, hi, Burster. What's up?
Yeah. Thanks everybody here.
Hi, Roster, how are you? Oh my God, if you were to tell me we were close to not having them here on the stage, if you were to tell me that this year, 2024 is not about the families and the fans showing so much support. I'm very happy to see that they made it to the stage, that they're enjoying it, and of course that we have guaranteed at least a map and number 4. I'm Kakuka, I'm back here with Billy. So what did you make of that abyss? Because obviously this was the first time the Pacific lost the map in the entirety of the year, and also it's the first time that Apex wins a map in the grand final. So what are we celebrating?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was difficult. I felt as though Pacific kind of got off to an okay start. You know, they had some really good reads on Apex. There was a couple of rounds where Rose was managing to get up mid on the attack, and just all players were able to sort of funnel into sight. But then when you look at the other side, Kayak is coming up on clutch rounds on those ecos. Like, he had some pop-off moments as well. So shout out to him.
Yeah, exactly. If we think about after that 6-6 half, when we go into the second half and we need to highlight someone, I mean, I think that every single one of the players in Apex, or almost all of them, had this individual brilliance.
Yes.
But I think they were doing so much better in punishing mistakes and actually forcing Pacific and the playstyle that they have into making those mistakes, thinking that some fights are going to favor them or taking more advantage of this kind of picks.
Yeah, definitely. I think Pacific kind of weren't sticking to their defensive protocols, I would say, so it allowed Apex to kind of funnel into those sites pretty easily. And they were having really good post plants as well, Apex. So yeah, no, it was really nice to watch. I mean, kind of mentioned it, or at least hinted at it before before the match that on Abyss, maybe Pacific need to be careful about those overpeaking and kind of overheating, and I think that's something that we've seen in this map was that they were doing that quite a lot.
And as we've seen on the map update, the next map is going to be Haven. Now, this is another map that Pacific is undefeated on this year, right? But apparently Kajak, Kajak amongst others has their number for this match, or at least they showed that on Abyss. The preparation was definitely there, and it was a map that they knew was going to happen 100% once they banned the Icebox. So what are your expectations for Haven? Also knowing that Comeback is like one of the shining stars of Pacific, and he did not have the best second map.
I think Haven is a difficult one as well, right? Because you can't really expect your duelists to go in on their own and be able to pick up frags in the same way that we've seen them do it on other maps. Haven, you need to have that team cohesion. You need to have people coming in and being able to trade off of you. So going into this one, I'm going to be really interested to see which duelist is more disciplined throughout the matchup as well. So yeah, I think that's going to play a factor in the overall team's performance, is seeing who's going to be more disciplined.
Do you expect any kind of changes? Because the compositions that we expect are very, let's say, vanilla, especially with the with what we've been seeing lately. But thinking about that first map and the change that we saw in Sunset for Comeback and the rest of the team, the swap into duelists and maybe trying something else, knowing how aggressive, especially on the defense, Pacific wants to be, would you anticipate any of these other changes?
I mean, I don't think so. Like, I think that the Pacific probably went into Sunset and thought, okay guys, like I don't know how much of a chance we're gonna have with this one. Let's just throw something random in the mix. Haven, I feel like it's one of those maps that you need to have your fundamentals down. So if you start making changes at this point when you're in a grand finals on LAN, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, in my opinion.
I mean, but if you're already aggressive, the fundamentals do not really change. Like it just like the agents are going to change, and maybe how you play a little bit, you know, with the distance and the initiators that you're putting in. But no, I agree with you. I was, you know, trying to maybe make it happen. They didn't expect the Abyss to happen. That's why they didn't change anything. But for all the other maps, everything's going to be different for the grand final. But as we're taking a look at the agent select, we're seeing that there are no changes. Mirror matchup completely here. Billy, who do you think is going to be the shining star of this map?
Whenever I see a mirror matchup, I have to go based on aim, right? Like you kind of have to take that into factor.
I mean, you can make the argument that, for example, Hype was doing a very good job in shutting down Comeback.
Yeah, I mean, this is true. This is true. It's interesting.
Interesting, yes. Okay, we're going to put it into interesting. Apex is going to be starting on the attack, and if they can continue what they were doing back then in Abyss, this is going to be very interesting because, of course, now we're in the best of 3 scenario. Whomever gets a couple of wins will make it through, but of course, everything has to start here on Haven with our wonderful casters, Tom and Mitch.
Thank you to our wonderful analyst desk. Yes, Haven is where we're about to see the battle go down. And between these two teams, hey, recent results have been relatively similar. This should be an interesting battle. And, well, whoever takes this, they're going to have 2 chances to close out the series. This carries a lot of weight, this map of Haven. And, well, I'm getting to see the defensive side from Pacific. I'm excited because Comeback on that defense, I expect aggression from that man.
This is, as well, the combo breaker. That was it, what we just witnessed. Apex were in grand finals of Ascension, were 0-4 up until they won that last map. Any curses that may have been there have been extinguished. Now it becomes a level playing field once again. Comeback alongside Loiter. Going to be making that presence known into middle, but there might be an expectation there, an immediate brawl, an immediate battle as we kick off our 3rd map. And for now, it's going blow for blow. Timmy, the turret's even going to rise to the occasion and put one in the body pile. It will keep things with an advantage in the favor of Apex for now, as they look to make their way back towards this A side, which is currently completely open.
Bot coming back.
It doesn't look like, well, now it looks like Rose is going to get there in time. Spidey senses started to tingle. Knife came out in a quick rotation. Rose is on site and ready for this hold with Avova just now making it to the site. He spotted Malsey. The flash for the double peek, that puts him to bed. Jalasun does well with 170 HP in a 1v2, locked out with the nano. The plant secured. A tough battle for him indeed. The drop out of heaven could be the last thing he does here.
attempted this in the last pistol. It was a 1v4 that he brought much closer than we ever expected. The turret is giving him away, and as you said, jumping down from here makes it impossible. Even the spam up from Avova, he knew that there would be an attempted play through his smoke, and there was no hope from that point onwards. Another pistol into the hands of Apex, another solid start in map number 3.
Yeah, foot's in the door to start out Haven. This is what we want to see from the likes of Apex. And this map, although we had many heroes to step up in the previous with all that open space to be taken and lanes to be pushed, I really do think this is going to be somewhere that we get to see the best of Comeback and the best of Kayak, both players challenged early on. Like you said, there's been some step-ups from Apex as well. Looking at that last map, Hype was there. We started this one out with himself and Avova fragging out 1-0 for the attack, and now they get a decent buy coming into round number 2. 4 rifles and a pistol. Little bit of a margin for error. It does mean for Pacific, if they can manage to drop a couple of these attackers, well, it's going to be a round that they can look back positively on.
You can understand as well why Apex are putting a little bit more into these rounds. Like, a lot of the time it's the 3-2 or maybe even less at times, but with Pacific so willing to challenge and also just having that raw firepower that can just take them big advantages. It's also why we're seeing Apex be so patient. All right, there's a lot of avenues for aggression. That's why this map has really worked out well for the side of Pacific, both on the defense, but also when they attack, because they're able to just almost death ball, like steamroll into one site and put the pressure on. Soulcast is going to go looking for information. Found a little bit with the drone and the stun to follow it up. Even jump peek here would be risky. But there are 3 players here for the defense. It's the best they could hope to get.
Jalison's even just made it, but at this moment, they go back in the other direction. The call was made from Hype. He had space for free.
30 seconds left.
That space has been taken back. Now they go walking with limited time. So in fact, running, scrambling into this A site. 4 players waiting. They're only pistols. The element of surprise. Already lights Avova down to 5. Damage done with Kayak. Drop time ticking, but Malzy, he seems to have bought them a safe haven. A spot to plant this spike, to lick their wounds with Solkus and Avova so desperately low. There's still a chance for Loida.
Yeah, that's the thing. The chance of winning, okay, it's slim. But we already spoke about damage in a round like this, how valuable it can be for the next. The thing is, though, the utility from Apex is making it so much harder. He's trying to find a gap, and Avova is going to execute him immediately. 3 guns at least kept forward. Of course, the 4th will be lost. But considering how badly that could have gone in the late round, making a play into that site, it could have been a whole lot worse.
That's that Hype just with a pistol, so he's left to free roam the map and claim the space. And it's better that it happens in a round like this. You lose a pistol and you're sent back scrambling towards what was a dangerous situation. Luckily, Malzy mitigated all of that risk. 3rd round now for Apex. 4 rifles. It's basically a full buy. They've certainly got the ability to take, on the attack side even more so, to use the numbers to their advantage. Malzy's the guy on long. He's only got a pistol, but he's using his utility to put them into an uncomfortable position. Kayak already up close, but tucked in the smoke. The paranoia doesn't present very much danger, and they wait. There should be some utility to cover that backside push. It's the flash that gets them in, but they've not cleared Loida. No one's looking on the left. Loida's at least got a chance now. He's holding on with so many people peeking him, and the rest of the squad doesn't get here on time. LaRock desperately low. You have to look to Rose to recover this round. Now is on his shoulders. He's caught with an arrow in hand, and sure, a lot of those Apex players both 30 and 31 HP, but however narrow the margin, that's a 3-0 start to Haven for Apex.
This is again where that experience can come in vital. They lost that first map, and that could have boomed anyone out, especially with the advantages they had in the veto, but the last map came back swinging. And even after taking some casualties in the last round, it's, again, just the pace they hit at. And don't get me wrong, there are opportunities. You mentioned Loiter. My expectation was that he could have potentially got a whole lot more. Comeback, but his attempt to be cheeky is met with a nano swarm. This is the thing. I think even in the last map, you can comment on how good Apex were at staggering out the aggression of Pacific. Think about what Comeback had to do to genuinely get an early fight. It would just dash up mid and try and just face someone on his own. It was risks after risk and not that same sort of set-up aggression that we've seen from them, but committing that utility early just didn't have the value. With these slow moves once again, this site is open for business. One defender and he's dealt with ease.
Great flashes as well. That support from Malzi's perfect. Solkis cleaning up the kill from earlier. Hypes Nano did so much damage. Now they have site control, 2-man advantage. The Pistols looking to swing in and catch some players off guard, but they find nothing. Kayak's on the run. He couldn't get there in time. Solkis cut them off, and the Flawless is locked in anyways. That's 4-0 for Apex, and honestly, there wasn't much of a fight in that round. We didn't expect there to be, but that can't be the case for too much longer. Pacific trailing by 4. It's time to get on the board.
I think the terrifying prospect as well for these youngsters is if they lose this map, that'll be 2 maps that they've been flawless on, losing for the first time ever. Like, you are going to go in after winning that first map and go, next we've got Abyss, 8-0. Then after that we've got Haven, 7-0. This series is done. Then you have the first hiccup. You're like, okay, that happens. We're up against a solid team. We know we're facing experience. We knew this wasn't going to be an easy ride. Then you go 4-0 down on the next map, which you're also very confident on, and things start to get worrying. Now, I will say, both teams have shown time and time again that they're experts at the attack. We've seen the last couple of times versus the Ultimate, a 9-3 attack half for the side of Pacific. 9-3 versus HAL when they played it regionally. We know that they can run it down on the attack. There's no problems there. The problem, however, comes on the other side, because even last time out, in a close victory, it was an 11-1 defensive half from Apex. I think we remember that. That was the one where Soulcast didn't die for the entirety of the half.
Yeah, we were counted down.
You don't want to go down too far. And I like the early pause. Give it time for keywords to be said. Whether or not those can have impact in this round. That operator's in play. Comeback. Map 1, unbelievable. Map 2, a bit quieter. Map 3, so far, non-existent, but this is where we expect a change.
We absolutely do. Comeback, like you said, quiet, but now has the AWP posted up and looking for a victim. It's Hype. Just behind that smoke, hiding around the corner, but that's the reward he gets. Rose, walkabouts, and quickly cleaned up, flank secure. Apex have to plant in on B. The rifles now not able to get much done through these smokes. Rolling Thunder as well, putting them on the back foot. That's the AWP. Caught on sight. Comeback's chance might just be taken away from him here. The flank's already underway with Avova wrapping on the side. Solkis holding strong. Comeback's best chance is to get out of here with the AWP. Carry this through to the next round, but we've seen Apex foil that plan in just the previous map. Spread out now, the danger pings are in the right spot, and they're willing to put their guns on the floor to die if it means taking this rifle out of Comeback's hands. But the shot won't land for Solkis, and the others simply too far away.
Yeah, he will be just about able to live to fight another day. In fact, Moz is even going to go down to the spike. It's a little bit of extra damage, but ultimately not the biggest deal. And this is what has been the case so far, this patience from Apex. I love the adaptation as well. Like, they've been slow, very slow in a lot of these rounds and hitting sites with 30 seconds left. So this time, they dive into the B site, take full control, get in a close spot, and they send Kayak in as almost just a lamb to slaughter. But then they leave a lurker. They leave players behind so that they can't be surrounded. And those are the moments that are catching Pacific off guard. They didn't even get an opportunity to even start the retake because they already lost their initiator, or one of them, before anything could even begin.
Take flight.
Well, this is a much more direct round from Apex by the looks of things. Straight into the C site. Drone already clears out Garage. They've got the space in the walk in from Kayaks, cleared the C site. It's all open for the taking. Will there be a play from Jellison, a drop out of the window? It doesn't look like it. Everybody just grouped up on that. Hold on, is Kayak going? Surely he doesn't continue this. I see a breach close by, a flash that goes into the back, and in fact, no, it's just Kayak dry peeking in for 2. Almost gets a 3rd for his trouble, and it's Malzi to keep numbers even, but he goes down. Hype on the side, swung wide by Rose in the 1v1. Rose left on 5 HP, but his opponent, oh, the shock dart! It came very close. The plant still needs to be secured, and with the drone, that's the perfect time. You know he's not pushing you. You know you can get that locked in. The reveal might give him something to work with. Rose needs the head to line up right away. With 5 HP, there was no margin for error, and it's Solkas to come out on top. 6-0, there's no need for that. Apex off to a flying start on Haven.
You can also see how much work has been put in behind the scenes. Like, there's something that you talk about with this Pacific squad and how they like to move as a unit, how they like to sort of get in together, have someone as that pinnacle, put util to support. They're explosive in their manner. Their floods are fantastic. How do you stop that? You don't allow them to set up. You get in their face. You said, like, is he really going to go through this? They are, because if he gets a kill there, it just disrupts everything that was planned. And that's been the case all the way through. Catching Rose on lurks, like stopping this defense, ever really setting up into retakes. Apex right now seem to be the rock to the scissors of Pacific. And once again, the finances are not in the best of spots. Comeback saving for an operator, but luckily has himself a Blade Storm. The attack of Apex is just waiting, looking for that gap. Trying to find that spot. Information will be gathered at least, and the spam, oh, not quite the success they were hoping for.
They're trying to condition them off last round. It's the same sort of play, not quite as direct, not quite as quick, but the pressure being applied in the same part of the map. It might get the A players to think that they can go walkabouts, they can get aggressive, they can push up, and that's exactly what happens. Comeback out there with the Blade Storm, and he's being forced back, but it's all a ruse just to try to bait them into the A-long angle. Unfortunately for them, and it is Pacific, the play is coming back into C. It is the same as the previous round with the split coming in. They've caught Jellicent. The flash is perfect. Loida recovers nicely and even drops the spike. He's holding inside his smoke, but Avova beats him to it. Solkas on a slight off angle. They just need to get that spike on the ground for now. And it's this man that has to, oh, he's surrounded. They're everywhere, behind him, in front of him, but still he makes it out. Beautiful shot on the Rose, and a lockdown as a result, but it's not needed. It's Solkas locking this round down for Apex. Another nail in the confident Pacific on Haven with that 4K. It's 7-0.
I think this might just be his map. I think this is the comfort pick of Solkas. We said last time when he played it versus Barca, that was the last time they played it. In fact, he was 15-0 in a half. But he's currently 9-3, and the manner in which he dismantled them this round is, it's almost sickening. Watched him jump, turn on a dime, and hit an instant headshot. Avova knows what he's just witnessed.
As Bulla Peak. Gotta go for it.
I was about to say, your son is beautiful. This is a much-needed timeout. This is a position that Pacific just haven't been in. Like that's what you have to consider. They won 3-0 CGN, even in losses. Okay, maybe the first time they played CGN was a map where they got battered. Other than that, in every victory they've had, the most they've lost is, say, 13-10. A scenario where being 7-0 down in a map is unlikely. They've had so many explosive plays, individuals that have been able to turn the tide or at least make things competitive in every series they've had. But this was always the question. How far can Pacific go? From Premier to the Turkish League to Ascension, all the way to the finals. The final hurdle stands in their way, and that final hurdle has the misery of losing the last. It doesn't look like Apex want to do that again. Another opener goes their way for Jellicent. There's at least something, but they know he's in this corner. This is a little bit messy, though, from Apex.
Oh, there were a couple of flaws, but they brought it back even. TP used into spawn, but Spike is down. Spike's right down in the C choke point. It's a cancellation from Avova just to cause a headache for these Pacific players, having to cover every angle. They've seen him now, though, and Comeback doesn't miss those shots all too often. The Spike, almost irretrievable, and Hype on 36 HP for Pacific. might finally be around on the board. 7-1 is not an awe-inspiring scoreline, at least not in the way they'd hope for. But it is at least a foundation laid. It's something to build upon for Hype. Yeah, just one bullet to close him out. Keep in mind, Tom, I looked back. Something was ringing a bell for Pacific up against the Ultimates here on Haven. They got 4 rounds on the defense. They were, I believe it was 11-4, in fact, and they won 13-11. Pacific have got a good attack side. They just need to build up enough rounds here that they'll get a shot to really get it into full swing.
It's a nice idea. My only worry is, are Apex the Ultimates? And when you saw them play against each other,
I don't think so.
It wasn't quite, didn't look like it. But getting on the board, more important than anything else. Again, we see these early fights. They have been traded fairly even. Lorok looking to try and stick around, but the continuation of aggression is their undoing. They wanted to fight tooth and nail for A control. They don't have A control, and they've got a man disadvantage. What they did have was 2 very high-impact ultimates. Now that's only 1, and when you're playing alone, a Rolling Thunder's not as high impact as you'd like.
Yeah, not quite. You get 1 with the Rolling Thunder, 1 with each flash, you know, maybe that's going to work out, but yeah, dream scenarios for Lorok. This instead may be a nightmare with Apex losing 1 round and immediately fighting back. Pacific. Well, they've certainly left us wanting. Spike almost undefusable, and
Don't you do
Lorok's
it.
going to be knife.
Don't you do it.
Hype is walking right up behind him, blade in hand, and it's done! The knife delivered to the back of Lorok, and Hype secures an 8th round for Apex. The biggest blow is not to the back of his opponent, but it is to the economy now for Pacific. The position on the map as well. They are drowning without rounds.
Down A.
It's just a young lad.
There was no need.
Didn't deserve it.
That's my boy.
I'll also say, someone with Soulcast on their team going for a knife kill. It's just
On Haven.
on Haven.
On Haven, mind you.
Gives me flashbacks, and not for the right reasons, but this is a very different look. Map 1 was a defeat. Map 2, at least at times, looked close. This is not even remotely close. And a change-up. Lorok, someone known for those instant headshots. I'd see a Guardian, a Sheriff, a Vandal in his hand.
Yeah.
Odin doesn't ring that sort of bell.
Right there.
Sometimes you got to graduate, Tom. All right, go from those easy guns where you just one-tap people. Anyone can do that. It's all about the 100-bullet magazine, suppressing fire. Make some noise. They can't even hear the footsteps, Tom. You spray it loud enough. Bro's about to find some information. They're stacked up outside A. That drone, I don't know if it's going to spur them on or get them to pump brakes for late round, but either way, it is going to see a Vova fall to an absolutely gorgeous wall bang. I take my hat off to you, Lorok.
Kayak, though, has opted to take that space. With the Rolling Thunder in and the lockdown, they're going to try it. Actually, no, it's the attack side trying to pressure, but it's an immediate response. Loiter now looking to try and clear Mosey from position. A lockdown even put into play, trying to force them back, but Kayak has no plans of that. His only goal is to try and go forward, play that time down to the last second, get the swing, and he does it right, but it's still only going to be that 1. The trade out, though, puts the advantage with Apex once again. Shock dart through, extra damage to Jellison. The aftershock, I don't know if it's reached quite as far as they'd like, and Jellison goes pushing instead. Looking to clear these back angles, but Hype just staying invincible in the backlines. Finally, he's dealt with, but that clock is now ticking. And Mosey's already repositioned. There just isn't enough time to even play with. Now he's let go, it matters not. Mosey gets the job done. He'll go down to the spike again. But they won't care. 9-1, lead extending further. Apex are running it down.
And we're getting to the point now where Pacific don't have those credits to fall back on. Their economy was devastated. And even despite that, I have to say, beautiful opening pick. They're not able to make it work. Disruption from Kayak, only good for the 1. We could have seen much more, but that kill that we just saw from Hype, that's what secures it. The whole plan of that round, obviously you retake the site, but that Loida has huge impact on the late lurk, but Apex make the immediate adjustment to go back, clear that angle, and from there the round is kaput. 9-1. Double digits possible in round 11 for Apex. This is a competitive series. Neck and neck. At the end of the first half last map, but now Pacific have to scrap back, and they're doing it. Lots of damage done with 2 players dropped in the early round. It's one of the best starts Pacific have had.
For sure. Yeah, a bit of a gamble with the ult, but it's worked. This is one that they definitely can't afford to let slip, though. Garage control. Hype's going to try and make a play. Timing here is everything. He's been spotted by Comeback and doesn't opt to do too much. It seems like Paranoia is actually being set the other way. They've got to be careful. They're desperately trying to destroy any utility. The swing actually is Jellison to win that battle too. Looked like he was dead to rights, but on 5 HP, he'll live just that little longer. Eventually dealt with Molsey, looking to take space onto the side, but so much more still to do, hoping for an afterplan, hoping again that maybe Soulcast can pull something off, but with a stun perfectly placed, a Paranoia putting Molsey up against it all. It takes a long time to get a second round, but Pacific have done it.
Yeah, look, it's a small little tick in the notebook, but plenty more tasks to accomplish. 9-3 might give them a suitable launching platform. For now, that is just one step on the path to redemption here on Haven. The lead considerable for Apex at the moment. The whole squad showing up, and the scariest part about it, this is a squad that's 9-2 in the lead on the attack side, where Kayak has, for the most part, not really. He's not shone in the same way he has in the past. He's not got 30 kills in the first half, right? But they are still dominating.
Well, the thing is, though, he's done his job. Like, a lot of what they've been going for is these post-plant plays where he is the first point of contact. This time, though, it'll be Avova. Again, they've had this 4-man attack, but instead, a quick rotation back to try and put support over on C. This is where the space is. That support's not going to last long at all. In fact, Kayak deals with it. But Jellison, again, bit of a sneaky position. He's realized there's nobody coming from the other angle, so he'll hold on to the C site. And in fact, it seems like the rest of Apex may just opt to try and join up with Hype on B.
Yeah, for now at least, the Spike is playing the buddy system. Solkus waiting. He heard steps just outside of Garage, and you know they might want to re-clear that eventually with the Killjoy util not there deep into the round. Player spotted on B. That's Solkus' opportunity. He crosses in the window. Makes it a little closer. We can see LaRock is watching it, but his attention has to be divided. No one is here to cover that walk onto site until Rose gets here. Tucked in on the close angle, watching the walk up, stun, even primed, and that's beautiful! Pacific with a set play to retake that space. They combo perfectly. And Solkus, although he has thread the needle, he's not going to be able to draw that much blood with 4 players still floating around.
Well, also the full C-site push from Jellison. It leaves a lot to be desired. 2 found, and there is time for this. He's got to be wary of a player coming in from middle, though. Jellison's just opting to try and play with the time, and while Rose will put his doppelganger down. It's a 3rd round at least for Pacific. They will opt to try and fight versus the curse, but it is a long way back in half number 2.
It is. It is going to be a big journey for this squad to get back on the board. 9-3. The foundations are laid, but Apex, they certainly have the wind in their sails. We know Pacific, no slouches when it comes to that attack side, but that doesn't make this any easier. Up against Apex, an even bigger task for the squad from Turkey. It's time to toss this one over to a break, and when we come back, we'll find out how half 2 is going to go. 1-1 on maps, but the score is far from even when it goes down to the server. 9-3. Apex have dominated in that first half and now move to their defense. A pistol win here, well, that will certainly set them on the path to victory and perhaps the path to VCT. 2 more maps come up after this. And the victor here will have 2 chances to close it out. With this lead, it looks like that could be Apex, but it's time to put Pacific's attack side to the test.
Apex as an organization, one of the heaviest investors in that tier 2, the dream of reaching VCT as their goal. For Pacific, the dream of going all the way from Premier to VCT. That is something that never has been achieved, and in the first year was never expected to be. They have got one hell of a job to do to get themselves back into this map, but with the A site under their control, it's an immediate response. Comeback manages one, but they are not looking to just sit back on that defensive side. Maybe they should have been. Hype now left to fight 1v3. The pistols have gone their way in the last few attempts, but not this time. That is the lifeline Pacific were looking for.
A much needed round for the attacking side, and already we're seeing them deal with the hyper quick play out of Apex to get back into the site. Kayak looking to up his, I guess, confidence after that first half, where again, you know, you talk about a Jet on attack, you're taking space a lot of the time, you're the guy going in and going down in those early fights, and we saw that a lot, like the round where he walks up garage, takes an opening pick, and as Kayak tries to walk back, Jalasun just swings out and blindsides him. This half should be where he finds a little bit more of that room to play his own game. To start, Pacific have done well to shut him down. Round 14 sees rifles for Pacific, and in fact, very comprehensive buy. Fair to say that Apex have not come in with the same competitive spirit. They're just playing this for classics and looking to get on to the next. Damage, though, with this kind of investment from the attackers, every little helps.
You can see that Pacific want at least a weapon in every hand, and that means there's a weapon to be lost on every player. Definitely some more valuable than others, but you can see the wariness of some of these close range positions. Moz is going to try the swing, but they are more than prepared. Let's leave Solcas. It's the last remaining defender. Now they know that he is here. The spike now going in the other direction. Comeback is going to go walking into the site. He's almost left as the fake, the ruse, the attempt to turn up some orbs, and that's exactly what he's done. Getting closer towards that Blade Storm. And for the rest of the attack, while Vova's going rotating to the wrong side of the map.
30 seconds left.
Then again, if he can get a kill, do a little bit of extra damage, claim himself an orb, it would be nice.
I'm sure he wouldn't say no to it. Volva's certainly cautious of this angle. He'll get the fight, and he'll get the orb, but the hard way. 1 kill is hardly anything to write home about for Apex. The chance to do more is not very strong. That plant already pretty deep into the round, and Vova's just on his way to die to the spike. The question is, can he take 1 down with him? The answer should be no, but after his ninja defuse in the last round, they might be keen to face him.
He's trying to bait them back into the spike. They know what this guy is like. With the dart in play, it made sure that there was nobody on it. You could see maybe just a bit of fear in the hearts of the Pacific side, and even some smiles on the Apex faces. I think they knew what they were doing. This is where we expect things to get a bit more exciting, though. The investment back in, comeback even gonna put some money into a rifle. The thing is, 2 kills and all you had was a sniper. It actually ends up still leaving him with enough credits and 3 orbs away from having the Blade Storm. They could very easily have had the gap. But this round victory is where we could see this game become competitive again. If Apex close this out and win the next, it's all but done on Haven. If Pacific can make a go of this one, but they've got to be careful. Look at the 4-man push from Apex outside of A.
Yeah, it's a lot of aggression, and it looks like Pacific have a read on it. At least they've made the right call in taking this elsewhere, straight into the B site. Alarm bot's still going to give over that information at least, but hard to respond. They've got the plant, and they're out of here, with most players being able to exit without taking a fight. The only one that can't is Comeback. Hadn't got his dash online. And I think, honestly, looking for Apex, they didn't lose a player there. Kayak walking about on A long. He's not found much, and they've got 2 players fighting the extremities, but Pacific are ready for this. They're covering every gap, and there's even a paranoia early play with the flash from Breach to take Hype. That's devastating.
Yeah, even jumping over the plan spray. This is falling apart. Already the dart in, and it's just going to be the spam through from Comeback. He's had enough of these sort of shenanigans. A clean round, and the Jet is the one to take over the most of it. Pacific, you wouldn't believe that that was their bonus round. They managed to come in, win it cleanly. And as you mentioned in that first half, all they needed was the foundations. The attack side of this team is clean.
Yeah, and the other thing you can say, sure, Kayak had a tough time in that first half. It doesn't look like Comeback is following that same protocol. Been firing up, and here at the end, lighting of Ova before another Ninja could go through. You can see the confidence overflowing with that updraft dash. Now, 9-6, 3-round gap. After finishing the first half, it didn't look like this was too likely. That's a lot of damage. 3 players dropped by the Outlaw. And, well, it's safe to say the gap is now down to 2. I don't expect this one to go back the way of Apex. It's only Kayak and Sulcas. It's only Sulcas, sorry. And I don't think he's got too much left in the tank. Here comes Jealosun for this. There goes Jealosun, and now Sulcas has a rifle. 1v4.
Yeah. That was the easiest kills I think you're ever going to get from Comeback. A gamble taken, walking into the angle. Timmy the turret even took a leg shot for that one. The thing is, though, economy-wise, it doesn't even matter so much for the side of Pacific. They have got off to a crazy start, being able to win out the bonus round, even playing still with an SMG. A lot of that coming off the entry power of Comeback, and we mentioned it. Last map, not going to pretend like he had an awful performance, but it wasn't the guy we've seen styling on teams throughout the entirety of Ascension. Soulcast, well, he's already got his ultimate online. There's not really much more he can gain. Is he going to break the economy of his opponents? No. So he's got his ult, he's got a rifle, and he may just try and take the rest of the team down. Not quite going to happen this time out. He can still buy into the next comfortably, but he's at least reduced how much money they'll have going forward. Even still, 4 in a row, or 6 in a row, and the deficit now down to just 2.
And the recovery has been remarkable for the side of Pacific so far. 2 rounds in it. I know we spoke about their attack side. We spoke about them being able to put the pieces together here, but this is something else entirely. And this buy round will determine it all. What I also like looking down at that stage, Tom, we're in map number 3, and there's a lot of energy between those players. They're telling each other to sit down, to be quiet, to be scared of the Ninja diffuses. And I like that little bit of attitude that we're seeing on display.
Again, I think Pacific were expecting more of a brawl for this position of Ova under pressure. There is a firing squad up against him, but he is able to retreat. Drone, I'm not sure caught as much as maybe you might expect. With how many players are currently here for Pacific, they haven't seen too much, and now the defense is going walking. Drone's only going to spot Ova. Now bear in mind, they've already seen this man. They know that he's here. So that doesn't reveal that there's still a couple of defensive players, but it also hasn't revealed to the opposing side there are a lot of players coming their way.
There's the stun and a ton of utility. You certainly know now Pacific got come back onto the site, but he falls immediately. Hunter's Fury expanded, and the attack side seems to claim some decent space. Malsey is certainly a thorn in their side, and the rotate from Hype, well, it's not going to get anything. Laroc's tripled up on the breach and found them a 2v1 with an op on Rose. Kayak's got an op as well, but in the retake, this is going to be much harder to make work. A lot of angles to clear. The spike only now going down, so at least information to work with on one player, and he doesn't see them go short. Good idea that he's got to focus on long. Goes to the rifle as well. He knows they're likely to group up and take that fight together. Recon goes down. Kayak's waiting for the swing, but they're patient. Pacific are not giving him the chances. Only peeking periodically. And now, with the tap, they go wide, and Laroc lands it anyways. 8 on the board for Pacific. Cairo's looking stressed. And I'm not surprised. Apex have been caught up on now, just 1 round in it.
Oh, we've talked about in the early stages some of the crumbles we saw, but this would definitely be the worst of them. Pacific, after losing their map choice, after being down what, 7-0.
Yep.
Have now won back 7 rounds in a row of their own. And there's not really been a combo breaker in sight. Molesy did his best. He was being swarmed on the site.
3 kills.
Ults flying past him. I think it was a Hunter's Fury from Rose. He comes out with 3. But there just wasn't anything else on the table. No surprise. Apex are going to call themselves a pause. A chance to try and just slow the momentum. But if we've seen anything from this Pacific roster, it's that once they get going, they're very difficult to stop. And with someone like Comeback at the helm, the man who's been leading the charge, and LaRock now quickly coming up behind him. I've never heard the phrase fragging breach before, but I feel like he fits the bill.
Yeah, no, he certainly does. On the other side, though, we look at Apex. Kayak, I don't think, has got to kill this half. It's been slow. He's been shut down. And seeing a squad like Pacific put him in his place, well, this is actually what I was talking about earlier. The fact they were 9-3 up without Kayak fragging. Often you'll look to him and say, well, if he has a quiet game, who is going to step up? And the answer last half was everyone else. So it was all good. It didn't matter. But now, that answer ain't the same. Solkis, well, this is his home turf from what we've seen. He's having a good game, but they're 1 round behind, and we need to see that level reached again. We need to see Kayak online. He has a classic in this round, so it probably isn't the one, but a chance for Rose. Or for Hype, even. I'm so excited. But no, he's not able to land it, and they're sent packing the other direction.
Doing chip damage, though. And a round like this with pieces missing. But you're definitely right. You have to bear in mind that Kayak has been one of those players that he's been fantastic, but in an online setting. We haven't seen him on the stage, and maybe there is an aspect of pressure getting to him. As you said, in the first half, it really didn't matter. He'd gone a miss, but that was absolutely fine. I'm still looking at the health here. A combo breaker would be massive for Apex, being able to turn things back. But Hype has now met his maker at the hands of Comeback. And with the A site completely open, it's definitely not going to be an easy round to win.
No, they do seem to be locked out of it. Nice shot. Comeback is low, and Comeback is not worried. He is landing shots after shots. Avova down to 20 through the smoke, and he'll do just that. He'll go through the smoke. It's 1 shot off, and that is all put to bed quickly. Pacific, 5 players alive. And sure, there were some weaknesses here for Apex, but there were some strengths too, and they quickly get shut down. Some advantages early, Hype having a chance with a bookie, being in the right place on B, but of course, Comeback, I think you rarely see players do that. Standing in the open outside of B main, just beckoning them in to peek, and well, it worked out. He grabbed 2 kills for his trouble in that spot.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a player more confident in his aim ever. Like, genuinely. Like, I don't think, maybe he's just not got to the age where there's like that internal fear. Like, it doesn't work with him, because he genuinely, he'll go dashing into angles. He'll go sliding into angles. He'll sit on an angle where they know exactly where he is and go, you know what, yeah, try it. Try it. And while Soulcast, all he can do in the end is go down to the spike. It's 9-9 from a 7-0 spot. Apex are starting to crumble. They're the team with 4 players with more experience than all 5 on the other side combined, but we've heard it from Avova, the trash talk. We're up against kids. And the response from Rose has been the likes of, yeah, but once we get into the server, it doesn't matter anymore. And this guy is a 20-year-old in-game leader. Bear in mind, they used both their pauses and it fixed nothing. He has been the one dragging them through the dirt. With now the individuals starting to step up, starting to believe in what they might just do. Causing all of Apex nightmares to become a reality unless they can stop the bleeding. And when you look at the ultimates, they're fairly evenly matched in this one. Both with the Rolling Thunder, Hunter's Fury online for Soulcast. Neither of those lockdowns available. And a Blade Storm for Comeback, maybe the most terrifying of the lot. And also that operator battle. Kayak, though, he's not going to be in play this round. He is nowhere near the action.
No. They've chosen the right side of the map to go to, avoiding that man. Avoiding the chances for that defensive side up to find its value. It might be another retake for Kayak. And with the Rolling Thunder primed and ready, I would say it certainly will be. Avova, well, he has his ult. Has a shrouded steps, and he
No,
will
not
not
quick
get
enough.
to use them. Comeback is just a little too quick. The Blade Storm lands the frag. The plant is secure, but comeback
Big
goes
kill.
down. Solkis has the gall to step into the operator's sights, and he wins the fight this time.
Yeah, with the ults they have, that is massive. Rolling Thunder can push them back. Even looking to try and catch that player under Heaven. Someone they want to try and isolate. Hunter's Fury is not going to be using yet, hasn't connected. And in fact, the counter utility is holding them back a little further. They don't even check properly for Loiter. That last man hidden within the shadows. And because of it, Pacific have another round on the board. The crumble continues, and Pacific, they have looked unstoppable in this second half, yet to lose a round, and in many cases, yet to even come close.
That's what hurts, man. You look at Malzy in that position, he decides to commit the ult a little deeper, but it gives that tiny gap. One player wide, but that's exactly where his opponent is stood, right down below. Not being caught by that means he doesn't land on the floor, he doesn't make a sound cue, he doesn't give away the fact that he's there. And that gives Loida the blind side for the double. It gives his teammates the trade ability while they eventually deal with that danger man. And standing in the shadow of Heaven, it seems like he is putting Apex through hell. 10-9 for the attack side now. 9-3 down when we started this half, and they have the lead without budging on the other side.
No.
Well, talk about insult to injury. No smokes anymore for Apex. They've lost them through a smoke down long.
And also, it's allowed for the lockdown to come online as well. So it really has just put everything into the hands of their opponents. Kayak, he's looking to try and make his move. He's been deadly silent. The spams won't connect, and he's already forced off the angle to fade away into obscurity once again. Comeback is just waiting. They know that in a round where you already have a deficit, there needs to be someone to make a play. This time it's Solkas again. After an early kill goes one direction, he's the one to bring it back. Now, this lockdown is going to clear out so much space. Almost maybe hoping that it will force some players on C into the open. In fact, they're just going walkabout. Hype is completely baffled by the idea that they would walk into the C site with a lockdown on B and come back once again. Becomes that bodyguard, becomes the bouncer as they try and get back into the site.
Planted.
They're out. At least two of them are. No contest from Apex in this round and in the post plant. The rifles will be carried through to the next. The Hunter's Fury saved for later. But Pacific are on a roll, and they seem impossible to stop. Everybody stepping it up on their side. No weaknesses. And on the attack, they have been a sharpened blade cutting through Apex. Haven't quite got the knife kill online, but I think they'll take the lead by 2 instead. What a remarkable turnaround. And Tom, when we talk about experience, when we talk about age, the things that we tend to lean towards, the character traits of a team like that, is that when they go down, they don't count themselves out. They can always come back. They can fight. Look at Fnatic. That's what we know about them. For Pacific, they should not be that team. They should be. Their oldest players with 20.
Yep.
Like, this is a squad that should crumble under that pressure. The biggest opportunity of their lives. They're a map down, almost 9-3 at the half, and I don't know what conversation took place at halftime, but we're going to need to go back and take a look at that. Unbelievable. And Apex, they've called a timeout. Their last one here and now. From 9-3 up, they trail by 2, and Pacific only need 2 to close this out.
Yeah, I think one of the most beautiful things about this journey is the story of Rose. Like how he basically fell from heights, from positions where he feels like he could have gone further, watched teammates like Woot and Yedoje make it, well, to the final of Champions, while he was going backwards, or what felt like going backwards in his career, whether his individual ability would be enough. And then he found this, as a free agent, found this team and said to the owners, to the people running things, let me pick up players. Went to events, found youngsters, put the pieces together, and now has had a team that, as I said, he is a 20-year-old in-game leader that has built one of the most resilient-looking rosters we may have ever seen. Up against, as I said, almost every individual on the other side has more experience than their entire team combined. And somehow it looks like the complete opposite. They are running rings around Apex in this second half. They are playing with them in terms of the calls, in terms of rotations. That last round was a bait, using the lockdown to open up space on the other side. This is what you expect from a team with years experience, not a team that a few months ago was playing through Premier to see if they could make it into the Turkish league, into relegation, in with a chance to fight against the worst teams from that league. And now, if they win this map, we'll be one map away from fighting with the best teams in the region. It's this entry into the site again. The stack is good from Apex.
What? Utility from Larocque grabs the kill on Sulcas. No assist either. It's all him. All the damage comes from that Mad Hype on the corner. Good for one. They come through the smoke and he adjusts in time, trying to get out of there and keep the numbers in favor, keep the lockdown online. And that's exactly what's going to be used here. But Rose is on walkabouts. It's a dangerous play. There's two players watching him. He even gets damage in. 23 on Hype. But they're still at least able to get into a safe corner to run that lockdown. But Apex gained the space as a result. No smokes to block them out. It's got to be just raw angels and op up for grabs. Maybe Hype would take that. He's quite low. He's the one swinging first, but the trades relied upon are found, and Rose, with a sliver of HP, has to try to deny this defuse. Malzy getting it to half under his nose. Double swing to close it as well. And that might be their mistake. They could have had it defused by now. Shock dart in. Damage done, but not in time. Rose finds the kill, but Apex find the round.
It's so shaky. Like, these are positions where you look at it and go, oh, that should be easy from then on. They've cleared the man out of short. You know exactly where your opponent is, but even still, it's incredibly close. Malzy has to stick it in front of his opponent's nose. And if that wasn't half, he's dead. He is dead to rights. Apex cling on. They still have a bye for this next one, but if they lose it here, they'll be fighting versus map point with very little in their back pocket.
Last time Pacific got 9 rounds in a row. This time they're stopped at 8, and Apex seem to get right back on that horse. Rose does his best to recover, but Malzy's quickly there for 2. And Jellison now has it all to do. 45 HP, the spike in his back pocket. And Hype and Sulcas complete unknowns. On low HP, shock darts and a Hunter's Fury pose a great danger, but Sulcas might not get the chance to use them. Oh, the timing is perfect, but the spray is far from it. 11-11, we're tied up. That could have been an awkward situation. Pacific on 12-10 with a clutch instead. Well, once again, folks, we are neck and neck on map number 3.
It's one of the weirdest maps I've ever watched. One team utterly dominant. The other team utterly dominant in response. And now we reach the middle. 11-11. Apex somehow found their footing. But it feels like both teams are hanging off the edge of a cliff. Kayak again. He hasn't lost that confidence. He's still looking for fights. He's still trying to face off. And Rose is happy to meet them. But this is all just a ruse. Paranoia has been thrown through on the other side. They are making their way straight in towards this C site. There is no resistance here other than some spam from Hype.
For Apex, the economy is in a little bit of trouble too. Avova and Sulcas have invested down to their last. A loss here wouldn't put them in the best position to try to fight for their overtime. Pacific have site control, plant in. Last map, a lot of diffuses. Time's already run quite low. Stun goes in, comebacks close, avoiding reveals. The Hunter's Fury just about whizzing past him. He's got a close spot and they're unaware, completely blindsided, but he's only good for 1. Jellison tries to pick up the pieces, but stops after 2. Loida in for 1, and we're in the 1v1. Rose, he's been lurking around all round long, halfway diffused already when the swing comes through. Malzy down to 40, time not on his side, and Rose swings in to deal the damage, to put 12 on the board. And this map may well find its way into Pacific's lap yet.
It's the same 1v1 as the previous round. The exact same final players. And this time, it's a switch up. This time, Rose is able to get the job done. But it was a back and forth all the way through. Avova doing incredible work. Aggressive positioning with Jellison up close. now after being 7-0 down, Pacific have, well, everything in their hands. Economy not the best for their opponents. They're taking a gamble, going straight into this C site. Once again, Hype is still setting up utility as the Rolling Thunder looks to clear, but it's only going to clear the back of site. He won't be affected.
Comeback, he tried to get ahead of that, but he's caught still. Kayak able to quickly convert. That's a big frag. A player that's done so much damage to them every single time. Spray back gets Hype though. Numbers equalized. Team P used here by Loida. He's deep in the spawn and spotted by Solkas. Now surrounded as well. Players coming from both sides. Loida is drawing these defenders out into a fight though. 3 players now focused entirely on their spawn. It buys space, but look at the push up from Kayak. 45 HP, but if he catches them off guard here, it's all down to the timing. If they're looking the other way, and he doesn't quite get around in time, they've escaped, as has Loida, up into heaven. It looks like Pacific will regroup, and the turret even confirms that Kayak's behind them. They've come out of this one smelling like roses.
There was a million things that could have gone wrong there for Pacific, but instead every single one of them has gone right. It leaves us in a 4v4 scenario. Not a lot to play with in terms of ultimates. In fact, absolutely nothing will play a part in this final rounds other than the utility they have in their back pocket and the raw gunfights. That's where you'd normally favor this young Turkish side as they look to pick them apart, but the trades are there again. Low on HP, but they'll get the job done! Pacific with a comeback for the ages. From 7-0 down, they will take Haven and look to close out this series on Lotus. What a response!
It's their pick too. A map that they wanted to face Apex on. Lotus is going to be one hell of a matchup after that comeback. It ain't over till it's over. This squad has kept themselves in it for, I hate to say it, for the comeback. And the comeback kid, 22-18 when he finishes it, shutting down Kayak all map long as well. Pacific looks set to book themselves a slot in VCT. One more map and 2 chances to do it. We'll find out after the break.